Well, I feel a little bit more dressed to the others and such, so I thank you for this, and Phil and Del and members of the university. Thank you, because this really is a very personal honor for me. You know, as an industry executive, we often get the opportunity to share in many wonderful and joyful periods of our companies. We also suffer some of the difficulties of our companies, but we don't always get to participate in a very personal way. And I don't know whether it's been my long affiliation with pharmacy through education or practice, the fact that my industry endeavors so frequently intersect with those of the university, the fact that the founder of Wyeth, where I spent 30 years, really was one of the earliest graduates of the university, or the fact that many of the people that I work with in Collegeville to help run that company on a daily basis were among the more recent graduates of the university. And of course, the time I spent as a member of the Board of Trustees. And I think that really brings to life what your leadership really does so well here at the university, is they took someone like me, and they find many others like me, who had a general awareness of this university and converted it into a personal relationship. And so I thank you today, not just for this nice recognition, but perhaps even more for the enjoyment of that relationship. You know, Phil said to me, say a few brief words about innovation. It's Founders Day, and that by itself is always a challenge, because I very seldom say anything in a brief way. But my natural inclination would be to start to speak about the wonderful innovations of our life science industry. Talk about the technology of pharmaceutical delivery, talk about drug discovery, and talk about the wonderful world of biotechnology. But that's not really what I want to speak about in innovation, because in light of all of that innovation, and some might suggest to some extent even because of some of that innovation, today we find ourselves in the midst of one of the biggest healthcare challenges in history. Grand debates about who deserves that innovation, who pays for it, who profits, and perhaps one of the most passionate questions being asked is who decides? And I speak about the healthcare issue because I want to preface what I see as a very significant and evolving challenge in life science innovation. Just as in healthcare, where we are faced with the near insatiable demand for modern healthcare and funding resources that either won't or in some cases can't keep pace, life science innovation today is facing a very similar situation, where for many reasons there is almost an insatiable demand for the resources to fund life science innovation. And in a very similar way, we find that there are limitations that cause those who fund that life science research to be in a position to say that they either won't or can't fund in the way that they have. And much like healthcare debate, we in the life sciences field are a very fragmented group, and there is no single central view of how you fix that system, just as there is none for a fixing of the healthcare system. You know, in Big Pharma, where I spent so much of my career, we were always proud to boast about just how much money we spent in life science research and how frequently we failed. And I think today's world, the message is coming back to us loud and clear. Either spend less or fail less, but you can't remain on that same course. And with respect to innovation, it's not just a Big Pharma challenge, because it exists on the other end of the spectrum. I listened just recently to a panel where one of our colleagues was participating a few months ago. And a venture capital investor spoke to the audience and said, you know, I invest in life science innovation, but I really don't care about curing anything. And it wasn't crass. He was actually very sincere and very clear. His job is to take the important funds entrusted to him, invest them, and then to bring back very handsome returns. And as I listened to him, I recognized the dilemma they face. Because in today's life science world, it is becoming increasingly difficult to realize oversized returns if you don't somehow find a way to cure something. And perhaps one big difference I also noted there is a philosophical difference. It's because many of us who spend our lives in the life science industry actually do care about curing something. You know, I don't know that the solutions are easy either for healthcare or for life science innovation. What I do recognize is that here at this university, we've always understood that it is critically important to nurture the innovator,